This is Cadmus, and I want to talk about some of the reasons why I think Dark Souls 2 is the best Dark Souls. Um, I love all three games. The first, the second, third. I've never played Demon Souls or Bloodborne, but I actually started with Dark Souls 2, and then went back and played Dark Souls 1, and I love Dark Souls 1 a lot more than the third, but I'm going to tell you some reasons why I think the second Dark Souls is the best. I think to start, I'll just point out the characters that you interact with in the second one, to me, fit into the game better. They make more sense, and you actually get more connected with them, especially, and obviously, the Emerald Herald.
Bearer of the curse, I will always be at your side until hope has fully withered.
And other than the characters that you love, is the main hub, the kind of your home, which is Majula, and I love the Firelink Shrine. Dark Souls 3 was just fucking gay. The middle area, you just had to teleport everywhere. That was just the biggest bullshit I've ever seen. But Majula, I don't know if you guys remember first starting out, but when I got to Majula, I was absolutely lost. I thought, how the hell do I get... I don't know how to get out of here. I ran around. I was lost. No door was open. I just had no idea where to go. It took me quite a while to just get out of here. But I remember I spent probably a good couple hours just going to each kind of cliff like this and just listening to this music and looking at the sea. And that may seem small to some people, but I'm into that kind of stuff. Another thing, I'll get to level design soon, but is the armor and weapons and the combat. Sure, the sounds can be a little bit strange, especially with the two-handed weapons, but the armor in this game combines the best of all games. I mean, look at this armor set right here. All the armors with the capes, but this is the cyan set. And I don't have any editing software or anything, so I won't be editing this video at all, so sorry if it's a little annoying, but the armor design is just, they have such realistic looking stuff like this to some really, somewhat crazy stuff, but it all just looks so damn cool. Every piece of it's all dark, and the other games Dark Souls 1 was pretty good, obviously, but I don't know, this one just has the best if you ask me. And let's go to level design. Let's go to a few areas. It's been so long since I played, but one thing I didn't like was the fast travel in this. That's definitely one thing I appreciate more about the first one, is you didn't have any fast travel. But, you know what, before we travel, let's talk about something else. A couple more mechanics. Other than the combat, specifically what I meant is the varied attacks. Each weapon kind of has its own unique moveset. And it's not the same attack repeated over and over, like with Dark Souls 1. When you swung the hammer, you had one attack, and it would just keep doing the same single animation. With your strong attack, Dark Souls 2, has kind of varied moveset with both the strong and the weak attack. And the humanity or human effigy concept in this one, in the second game, is just, to me, the best by far. It's not so unforgiving like Dark Souls 1, where if you became undead, you'd stay undead for hours because you were afraid of running out of humanities because they're so damn hard to find. Then you had that soft humanity, hard humanity kind of set up, and that was, it made it challenging, but it kind of was annoying to me in a way. So I love the human effigy. I think you get just the right amount of them. If you're going to be dying a lot, kind of doing risky things, PvP and stuff like that, it's good to have an option to get quite a few of those. And another thing a lot of people hated, but I love, and I think people who played Demon Souls would appreciate, from what I understand anyways, is the items, the amount of items you can get. Not just healing items, but just everything. You know, to me it makes sense to have all these different kind of cool little trinkets you can use, and all these different things that heal you and reduce your spell uses. That's just cool to have these items. These ones that cures poison and heal. That's just fucking awesome to have all that stuff. It gives you something to kind of look forward to, you know, as you're finding loot and stuff like that. Yeah, we kind of went over weapons. I mean, look at some of these weapons, man. Just incredible. Let's see. Can't remember what I have on this character for armor, but you just get I mean, look at the armor you can get in this game. Mix it up a little bit here. All the Dark Souls have great armor. I mean, there's no doubting that, but I mean, just look at this shit. And yeah, the character design, especially the body, which may seem weird to some of you guys, but in the second and third Dark Souls, it's fucking disgusting. I don't know what they did. The faces are pretty good in this one. I mean, I kind of took me a long time to perfect this, you know, kind of look of face, so it wasn't so kind of dopey looking. Kind of looks like me. That's what I was going for. But the bodies, the skin color, I'll admit, and stuff like that, you look pretty sick. You look pretty nasty. The shape of the body doesn't look natural. Kind of sprawled out, especially female characters. That, you know, I know this game wasn't trying to make females in armor like, you know, exposed and sexy or whatever, but they just look terrible. They look gross. In Dark Souls 1 is completely different. You have, you know, your body shape is like kind of natural looking. You have body hair. Your skin isn't so like painty looking. That's one thing that's always bothered me on this one. Now let's go to some areas and check them out. One of my favorite areas in the game right here, the Shrine of Amana. I'm sure most of you have already played this, but I'm going to turn it up a little bit in case you haven't. Plus there's, as you see people run around, there's still a pretty big following online, people playing. Look at this place. The enemies in this game, the sounds, the music, you know, every Dark Souls is amazing like that, or at least the first and the second one. But the second one just tops it for some reason, to me. Oh, another combat mechanic is the golf swing. Those big attacks that'll knock you down. I guess you did have those in Dark Souls 1. Maybe you do in Dark Souls 3, I can't remember. But yeah, the level design is just awesome in this game. So many areas are just really nice to look at, really nice to kind of, you know, you don't want to just rush through, you kind of want to just stop and look around and kind of understand the area that you're in. Obviously this is quite similar to an area in Dark Souls 1, where you go down and fight the Hydra beneath Blighttown, I think it is. You go to fall through the big tree stump and you're kind of with these, what are they called? Can't remember what they're called, the ancient trees there. yeah, so level design is just awesome. Hades Tower of Flame is a really nice looking area. It may be simple and short, but it's, you know, just one of those areas you'll always, once you play through it, you'll always remember it. Yeah, so the big thing for me is the armor, the weapons, the combat, the items, the characters, especially the Emerald Herald, that just, you know, intrigues you the whole way through. You're kind of wondering about her, and although it's not like you have tons of interactions with her, it's just, I don't know, interesting. I just think they did everything just right. You know, the bonfire aesthetics, that's another mechanic in this one that is just, it makes sense. You know, if you go through an area and you can only kill each enemy, what is it, 10 or 12 times, something like that, then they stop respawning. And you might think, oh, that's terrible, I'm going to go back to my favorite area, farming items, and they're going to disappear, but that's where these items called bonfire aesthetics kick in. Obviously, if you've played the game, you know all about it, but to anyone who hasn't, you need to play. But yeah, that's just a cool mechanic to burn that aesthetic, and it kind of puts that one area into New Game Plus. So it'll give you an opportunity to fight new enemies in the area, harder enemies mainly, and a chance to get items that you may have missed out on. You know, from if you killed these old ancient knights 10 times each and they didn't drop the helmet, well, now you have another chance to get it here by burning a bonfire aesthetic. Let's go to another area real quick. And bosses, kind of hard to toss up with that. It's been so long since I actually played through this. Not so long, but it's been quite a while since I played through this game. But I can tell you the DLCs in Dark Souls 2 are awesome. And all the boss fights, as far as I can remember, are great. You know, there's a couple, obviously, in every Souls game that are like way too easy or something, but I'm trying to think of one that I on Dark Souls 2 that I hated, and I can't think of any. The co-op in Dark Souls 2 is perfect too. I think it's pretty easy to connect to somebody you want to play with. You can play through large areas. Like in the first one, you were really limited where you could summon and how far you could go and what you could do. The third one, you're probably more open than the second one, but I just feel like it means more on the second one. You know, if you help somebody kill a boss for some reason in this, it seems like you fulfilled more of a duty than you do in the third one. I don't know if that's just because it was new and I played it and there were so many people. I don't know. Yeah, this is another area that's just awesome. Greystone Cove. I'm glad my computer is powerful, loads pretty quick. You guys don't have to sit through loading screens. And you may not feel as lost as you do in Dark Souls 1, you know, without the fast travel and, you know, these areas that just seem like impassable or just so far-reaching. You do lose some of that in the second game, I think. But just the way your character moves, the weight of everything, the game just feels awesome to play. And that's what's kept me coming back to the game so many times it's just, again, the areas, the armor, the weapons, the bosses, just everything about it, the feel, the characters that you meet, even the odd characters like Cretan and Pate. You know, it's just really interesting to kind of try to follow their storyline and see where that goes. And sure, the endings, you know, seems to me, you know, seem kind of strange or short, but it's supposed to be strange. I don't know if it's really supposed to make that much sense in any of the Souls games. yeah, try the game out. Go back and play it if it's been a while. Don't listen to all those fucking stupid people online that say Dark Souls 2 sucks. It wasn't made by, what was his name, the director, Miyazaki. I don't remember if that's him or not. But you hear people say he wasn't involved in it, so the game sucks. The game's made by B Team. You know, it's bullshit. It's different. It's not. It's closer to Dark Souls 1 than Dark Souls 3 is to Dark Souls 1. You definitely got the most unique and interesting armor sets and weapons from Dark Souls 2. Even the ones in Dark Souls 3, the best of them came from this game, from Dark Souls 2. Yeah, so go back, give the game a shot. You know, don't listen to people saying that it sucks just for the reasons I just mentioned. Yeah, well, thanks for listening to my rant, and hope you enjoyed.